The following episode of the Because Maybe podcast is rated explicit. Please be advised that the content matter is aimed at mature audiences. If your age determines that you must attend mandatory education daily, or if you find coarse language offensive, you are strongly advised to not listen to this podcast. By continuing to listen, you are choosing to ignore this warning. You release the Because Maybe podcast team of any and all responsibility. Listener discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody? This week we take a look at the View Askewniverse, 6 interconnected movies from the mind of Kevin Smith. That and a whole lot more is to come, because maybe I'm not even supposed to be here today. Welcome to the show. And, you know, it is always really, really bad to show up on a day you're not working, or not supposed to be working, and then have everything happen to you. Hi, guys. Hope everybody is doing well this week. Once again, we're recording a little bit early, so I'm not going to have too much to talk about, but I'm joined by 3 out of 4. I'm joined by Benjamin Tynan from the Holodecks. Ben, how's it doing, man?
It's doing great, man. How have you been, John?
It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good, man. Long time no see. Glad to have you on board.
Oh, thank you for kidnapping me. I woke up in this chair. I was told I have to talk about some movies. I will make the best of it. I appreciate you giving me at least one hand to scratch the back of my head. But we'll make it through this.
Well, it's a good job I took your gag off, right?
Yes, I appreciate. Otherwise, this podcast would be very sadistic.
Isn't that right? No. But we start off with a sad thing to talk about today. Any 90's cartoon fans may not know the name Steven Hillenburg, but he was the main director of Ren and Stimpy, and the creator and writer of SpongeBob SquarePants, and
yes.
He passed today.
That's sad news.
It's you know, Ren and Stimpy was absolutely hilarious. It really was. And, you know, I've got kids, so SpongeBob has been played in my house pretty much every day for the last 15 years.
SpongeBob passed me by, but hearing that he worked on Ren and Stimpy and knowing how crazy that was, and then to find out that he's the creator of SpongeBob is not a surprise.
I don't understand, right? There's certain career paths that people take that I've never gotten. He was a fully qualified marine biologist. And, like, he put a lot of that into the SpongeBob stuff. Like, you know, but at the same time, he was director of these weird cartoons that, you know...
Like a talking horse being thrown out of a building by firehouse dogs. I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched a good Ren and Stimpy, but I know that it was too offbeat for children to be watching.
That's
why was I watching it? Yeah. Why?
Well, it was more offbeat than the other stuff. I mean, The Simpsons was tame compared to Ren and Stimpy, and The Simpsons was pretty funky the first couple of years, you know?
Okay, so if we're going to compare The Simpsons and Ren and Stimpy, I think The Simpsons is much more formatted along the lines of a regular sitcom with that, the family dynamic. Yeah. And then you jump over to Ren and Stimpy, which is like, it's a cat and a dog. Sometimes the cat's a guy, sometimes the cat's a girl. It just flip-flops. They're in outer space in one episode. Yep. They're rubber nipple salesmen in one episode. There's too much in Ren and Stimpy to get into as like an intro to an episode about something completely different. But if you ever have a Ren and Stimpy episode, please.
I've got idle cartoons on coming up next season.
Coming soon.
Yes. Unfortunately, we got Christmas coming up, man. I got the Christmas movies I got to do.
Are you gonna do Ernest Saves Christmas?
I'm not, but I might have to now, because I'm actually doing Muppet Christmas Carol, which is my favorite Christmas movie, man. Because of the fact that you have Michael Caine playing it straight down the line, and then you have Kermit the Frog.
He's surrounded by puppets.
Yeah, he's got a clue. Talking of future comings, real quick, just want to let everybody know that while this is dropping on Saturday, which you were listening to, we also have episode 7 extra on Monday, or probably it'll come out Tuesday. No, wait, let me rephrase that. It'll come out on Monday, it's going to be recorded Sunday night. And the reason for that is that me and Tara, we're going to the Century Tel Center on the other side of the river to watch the wrestling.
The wrestling.
Yes.
You're going to go see the WWE live. We'll have fun with that. I wish I could go to that. I think I'll be recovering from coming back from Dallas or something. I don't know. Wait, I don't know what's going on. My life is just a roller coaster that has no end.
It's just point you in a direction, wind you up, and
that's how it is. Eventually, I'll run out of steam or die.
Well, we don't want you to die, man.
No, I'm still here. That's great.
Because I want, like I said before, I want a pint of your energy, man. It's, But all right, guys. So we're gonna jump into more at the end. But if you were on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, look at Because Maybe Pod. Look at the blog. Look 3, 2, 1. Look at the blog Because Maybe Podcast, WordPress.com, and check us out on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Yes, we're on Spotify. We got a whole lot more to come afterwards, but in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and talk about Kevin Smith's masterpiece, because it is his masterpiece.
His shared cinematic View Askewniverse.
Yes. We'll be right back.
Review Corner, the big screen.
All right, guys. We're going to look at one of my personal heroes right now, and I keep saying personal hero because I've mentioned this a few times before. Kevin Smith is a fantastic, fantastic movie maker, a great storyteller, and his lack of technicality is something that I buy into a lot. And what I mean by lack of technicality, right? It's not he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know the technical names of everything, right?
Right. Bruce Willis famously got onto him for not knowing the lenses when they were filming Cop and a Half or whatever the hell that name of the movie was.
It was like he was showing hand gestures, and he's like, "Oh, it's that one." Yeah, okay,
yeah.
And I'm exactly the same. Like when I first started helping you guys out, it was like, "Hey, hand me the XL35." Says it. Oh, yeah, okay.
The blue one.
The blue one. Oh, yeah. And now I know him a little better, but, but that's always been my thing. I've never been a technical guy, but I knew how to do it. And that's why he's one of my heroes, because he's not technical in the slightest.
No, he's all about the big picture, and I like that.
Yeah, and these 6 movies we're going to talk about. First things first, disclaimer for all P90 phobes out there. We are going to be talking about 2 movies that came out in the 2000 era. Can't walk away from it because the bulk of the work is done in the 1990s, so that's why I'm giving this one a free pass.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important because it kind of wraps everything up in a nice little bow.
It does.
And it starts with Clerks, and that to me is like the epitome of an independent film.
Yes.
Shot in black and white.
To save money, it made it to where they didn't have to focus on like color temperatures and stuff like that. It was easier to shoot in black and white. So we go back to he's not a technical master. He found a way to make the easiest movie he could.
And that is a pretty easy movie to make. I mean, there was one action scene, I think, when they had the fist fight in the store at the end of the thing.
And it looks like one of us filmed it in 45 minutes on a budget of negative $15.
It probably didn't even take him that long,
They probably spent more on the snacks they wasted than they did on like filming and like choreographing that shot.
I mean, it was such a great... It was a groundbreaking movie for a start, right?
It was.
And Kevin Smith wanted to be Randall, right? He wrote Randall all the best lines because he wanted to be Randall. Yeah. He said, if I'm only going to be on film once, this is going to be my only film, because I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my life, I'm going to be Randall. And that's why Randall had the best lines in the movie. And he did have the best lines in the movie.
Right. Every joke lands with Randall.
Yeah. And just, it kind of, one of the reasons I think it resonated with a lot of people, right? The filmmakers didn't like it that much because who's going to buy the story of convenience store?
There's nothing that really happens. It's an episode of Seinfeld stretched into 90 minutes. It's 2 dudes hanging out talking about Star Wars, and nothing really happens.
And I think that's why it resonated with a lot of people.
It felt like someone had walked in on you and your buddies hanging out for the day, talking about your problems and what you don't like about pop culture, and then they just like fucking slapped it on the screen. It was great.
It was, and that was the best thing too. It went places that other movies didn't go into, like the hermaphrodite porn, But at the same time, it went, it tried to keep it tried to give a coherent message, right?
It had a narrative. It had a story to tell, but like the story was just a framework for Kevin Smith's, like, I guess, stream of consciousness writing style.
And he wasn't high at that point either.
No, I don't believe so.
He said he was straight edge.
Yeah, at that time, that was when Jason Mewes was straight edge. Jason Mewes was claimed to be a straight edge individual. And that was before Kevin Smith left to go to film school.
Okay.
For I guess a semester and a half or however long he was there, because he got a refund on whatever he didn't use at the film school to finance what would eventually be Clerks.
Dang.
And he met Scott Mosier at this film school. Scott Mosier was like a bleach blonde Beverly Hills 90210 sort of person, next to Kevin Smith, who's this schlubby New Jersey bearded, trench coated Sam Kinison-esque human being.
Yes.
And they ended up liking each other and having a similar sense of humor. And when Kevin Smith left film school, they had an agreement that whoever finished writing their individual movie, the other one would come help them film it.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's this fucking... not Mosier, but he tried to write some movie about Ian Black, Michael Black. I don't know.
Michael Ian Black.
No, not the comedian. That was the name of the character that would eventually be in Clerks, the snowball guy.
Oh, okay.
He wrote a movie based around that character. I'm paraphrasing because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's safe to say Mosier came over to Jersey to help Kevin Smith with Clerks, and he would eventually get the producer credit that would follow him for the rest of his career.
And Kevin Smith felt bad about that. He said that nobody goes to film school and want to be a producer.
No, and Mosier would eventually make that movie he was writing, but I haven't seen it, and I don't think anyone else has.
Now he is the director of the new Grinch movie that came out, Mosier.
Scott Mosier?
Yes.
Oh, the animated The DreamWorks one? Okay, well, that's awesome.
That's just such a random...
I had no
thing.
idea, and knowing that warms my heart.
And I didn't even know either until they flashed it on the screen, and the TV we got was a little bit big, so I was able to see it, and it's like...
Mosier?
Really? It's the same time when I first saw the trailer for Zack and Miri Make a Porno, when it said, View Askew Productions, I'm like, wait, this is Kevin Smith?
Yeah, Seth Rogen's being directed by Kevin Smith? That's an odd thing. And then Kevin Smith claims he does that because he sees 40-year-old virgins. I've been making these movies for years.
See, the thing is, I liked Zack and Miri. I really did. I thought
it was a great movie.
The only Kevin Smith movie I've not watched all the way through was that god-awful Yoga Hosers.
All right, so...
I got so far, and I just couldn't do it when I saw the bratwurst in the basement. It's no.
Red State was okay. The Red State was interesting. Red State had an alternate ending that is more interesting than the movie itself. Listening to Kevin Smith tell that story is interesting. I'll let you go find that, listeners. Red State's okay. Yoga Hosers made me angry. Yeah. I was watching it and I'm thinking, okay, Kevin Smith, he's kind of it starts out there in a convenience store. It's his daughter. It's Johnny Depp's daughter. I'm thinking all right, he's kind of making a Clerks for millennials. All right. I can get behind this. I'm all about something I like, but sort of made for kids.
Yeah.
And then the movie started, and it got to about the halfway point, and Johnny Depp showed up speaking French with all those prosthetics on his face, and I wanted to punch my television. I wanted to punch a movie, and I don't know how that's possible.
It was dreadful.
And I haven't seen Tusk. I don't want to see Tusk. Tusk is a joke of a movie. He and his buddies were on a podcast and made a joke about what if he turns people into a walrus, and then Kevin Smith goes and fucking makes the movie. Which, okay, I don't want to see that movie because that is a stupid premise for a movie, and anyone who thinks that they should make that movie is an absolute moron or a genius. And I think that Kevin Smith was smarter than that movie.
Well, the thing is, the difference between a genius and a moron is success.
Is success? Yeah, I guess so. And Kevin Smith has found a way to fail upwards for years.
Well, here's the thing, too, that he was going to make a third movie, right? You had Tusk, you had
Red
Yoga
State.
Hosers.
You read Yoga Hosers, I'm sorry.
And then there was going to be a third one called Moose Jaws.
Moose Joe's? What was Moose Joe's premise about?
Accent coming through. Jaws. Moose
Jaws, I'm sorry.
It was the retelling of Jaws, but instead of using a shark,
it's a moose.
It's a moose. In Canada.
Okay, so, alright, let's just... Okay, does Tusk take place in Canada?
Yes.
Alright, so...
It's his Canadian North trilogy.
Okay, so this takes me back to an evening with Kevin Smith where he talks about he's always felt inherently Canadian.
Yes.
And now he's making a Canadian trilogy.
Yeah.
Do you know who John DuPont is?
No, I'm not.
John DuPont is famously a millionaire who... founded, basically, he brought up the U.S.'s best wrestlers onto his compound, built them a big gym they could train and like make money off of wrestling.
Right.
And the whole thing was that John DuPont was just a crazy millionaire.
Yeah.
Who eventually became convinced that he was of Bulgarian descent because he started hanging out with one of these U.S. wrestlers who was from Bulgaria.
Oh my.
Kevin Smith has been hanging around so many fucking Canadians that he now believes himself to be a Canadian and is now making Canadian comedy propaganda films. I'm sorry, I'm having like a conspiracy theory moment.
Well, no, Kevin Smith is the future King of Canada. You do know that, right?
Can they elect a King of Canada that wasn't born amongst them?
Well,
like,
Britain's done it for years. I mean, the Queen's German, so I mean, you know.
Oh, really? But she's not really in charge of anything. So, like, are we just going to make Kevin Smith like a figurehead, or are we going to give him actual power? Because if we give him actual power, he might be able to do something like at least entertaining.
Yeah, he will. And Kevin Smith's got a good heart too, though. Yeah. You know, I mean,
we were talking about Clerks. I promise.
But I mean, you know, yeah, that's how it always goes. Just, but you know, the thing is as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was like the anchor point of the whole series, because this is the most referenced in all the other ones, right?
Right.
This takes place on day B, let's call it, right? Because Mallrats takes place the day before, and Chasing Amy takes place like either a couple of months or a couple of years later.
Right.
So, you know, but I mean, not just that, it was the absurdity of what he did, right? Hockey game on the roof.
Right.
Street hockey on the roof.
And anyone who's ever worked retail and like truly checked out of your job knows is like, you know what? I've done that at jobs where it's just like, you know, I'm going to go do something else for 45 minutes. And if I get caught, I get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hockey game on the roof. That was great. They closed the store to go to the funeral.
Where he knocked the casket over.
Did you ever see they actually had a scene in which they were going to film at the funeral parlor, Randall knocking over the casket?
No, I know they were going to do that, but I didn't know they actually.
No, they did not film it.
Okay.
What they did was the release of Clerks X, which was the 10th anniversary DVD. They had the animators of Clerks, the animated series, animate that scene. And if I'm not mistaken, they actually got Joey Lauren Adams to do the voice of her character in Chasing Amy.
Nice.
For that scene. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's how it keeps it all together, man. You know, there's a lot of iconic pop culture stuff, like, you know, I'm not even supposed to be here today, man.
I reference that a lot.
You sucked 37 dicks.
37 dicks in a row. Which is, that joke is what got Kevin Smith paid on this movie, having Harvey Weinstein sit. Because Harvey Weinstein famously sat through the movie the first time, didn't make it past the anti-smoking bit at the very beginning, which if he had at least made it to the end of that joke,
he would have got it.
He would have finally got there. And then someone made him sit down and talk to the point of which the 37 dicks joke. And he turns into...
In a row?
Yeah. He turns into Bobby De Niro in Cape Fear laughing at Problem Child, like... smoking a cigar. It's great. But let's... I want to talk about something.
Go ahead.
In this movie. Why does Dante seem to get, like, so much play? I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Okay. So he's got Veronica, which in 1994 is just a doll of a woman. He's got I guess you could call her the Sandy from Grease at the end of the movie. Yeah, she's the bad girl who is also objectively very hot. And then we cut to Clerks 2. And Rosario Dawson is chasing after this dude who is already like pushing 45 in that movie. I don't know if that's true. No. But like, why is it that Dante, this just constant whiny bitch of a human being, he's a hideous chud of a human being. He's constantly bitching about everything in his life, and these women just like he's just a panty melter apparently. I don't understand it.
Well, yeah, I have no idea where
And meanwhile, we haven't seen Randall with a woman ever.
No.
He might be gay.
He might be.
We're not going to go into that. Is Jay most assuredly gay in one of these movies?
Well, they put the joke in there, right? In Clerks 2, the outtakes, because I watched that whole outtake session they did, and some of those scenes would have fit in the movie, you know, to put them out there. And like in the jail scene, it's the whole, come on, man, hit him with some knowledge. And he's like, I got nothing. And then it cuts back to them and they carry on arguing, but in the deleted scene, it goes, oh, so why don't you fucking do something then, All your answer is pussy, man. It just, but it doesn't help the fact that you were a gay man trapped in this body. And then in Dogma, it was, you mess a bit more than any other person on the planet. Well, somebody doesn't know. You think about guys.
Yeah, I forgot about that bit. All right, so yeah.
But then again, he did, what's her name?
Shannon Elizabeth?
No, I think so. Yeah, Shannon Elizabeth in Jane Silent Bob.
Yes.
So, it's
Justice. That was her name.
Yes.
All right, so we're getting off track. There's too much to talk about in these movies. So anyways, the whole moral of Clerks is that Kevin Smith, schlub Jersey filmmaker extraordinaire, put himself $36,000 in credit card debt to make this movie, in which his mother famously said, "You spent $36,000 on that piece of garbage." And Kevin's like, I never really thought about it that way.
But you know what? He bought her a nice house with it.
He did. and I'm sure she's very grateful for his potty mouth all these years later. So Kevin Smith gets bought out by Miramax. Harvey Weinstein pays him like $300,000 for the rights to Clerks. They slap a soundtrack on it. It gets thrown in the theaters. Gets a standing ovation at Cannes. It's an amazing hit.
It is, and the thing is, it was the first movie ever whose royalties they had to pay for the soundtrack cost more than the entire production of the rest of the movie put together. Right. So, that's how low budget this was. But yeah, man, it's a great movie, man. It's a fantastic movie. I mean, okay, we've got the real element, then the surreal element, then we have necrophilia, then we have we have the scene where he's talking about the most ludicrous porn movie names in front of
a child. She's ordering Happy Scrappy. She wants Happy Scrappy Hero Pup. and he's just, oh man, I've got so much to talk about on that movie. So Randall, his name is Jeff
Anderson.
Jeff Anderson. He is looking at these titles of these movies and he's like, man, my mom might see these or something. See this movie, so he's like, Kevin, can we tame these movies a little bit, because this is really raunchy? And Kevin Smith goes, oh, okay. And so he's just writes down 4 more titles that are even worse, and he's like, here you go.
And I think one of the things I read about that as well is that he refused to do it in front of the woman and the child.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that there was a bit of editing there.
So what they did is that he did it off in one room, and then they had Kevin Smith read the titles to this woman. And her reaction is what they went with.
All right.
But yeah, my favorite part of it is the whole the jizz mopping scene.
Oh yeah.
And the reason I find that funny is because yes, Kevin Smith is not technical with the equipment, right? But as they have that conversation, and the guy's getting all wigged out, if you notice, he's buying paper towels and Windex.
He is not angry at them. He is angry that they are making fun of his profession. And he doesn't know how to come clean, so to speak.
Hey.
And also, when I was a kid and I saw that movie for the first time, because that's it's the guidance counselor, the shell shock guy who's checking the eggs in the scene that preceded the jizz mopper scene. It always struck me as odd, and I thought that was the same person. So this dude just went over there, checked eggs. He's a guidance counselor and he's a jizz mopper. It's like, this man has a dual life. And maybe that's why he's so broken up and he's looking at eggs all these times. He's so broken as an individual.
I forgot about I did forget about the egg scene because it was it was the therapy for him. But
that woman who comes in and explains what the shell shock is and why he's a guidance counselor. I was watching it the other day. And looking at that woman going, that looks like Kevin Smith's daughter, but this is 1994. And then looking at the credits, it's Kevin Smith's sister.
Oh,
looks just like Kevin Smith's daughter.
Yeah, that's right. I thought I didn't realize he had a sister. I thought he had a brother.
He's got a lot of everything.
Well, they were Catholic, so yes, every sperm is sacred, as we are told.
Every sperm is sacred. Yes.
So, all right. Well, that's Clerks. We'll get back to Clerks here in a minute. I'm gonna let you handle a lot of this one because I'm not truly I'm not say a fan, but I'm not as familiar with Mallrats as I am with all of the other ones. I've only seen it like twice, and I can't remember the entire plot. All I know, I got to the bit where they walk up the escalator. Is in my memory. All I remember
the child gets stuck in the escalator.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Ethan Suplee with the whole
the magic eye. Okay, so the movie goes like this. There's running. All right, so
Jason Lee
is playing Brody, and his cohort, whose name escapes me right now. He and his girlfriend were supposed to go on a vacation to Universal Studios Orlando, in which he was going to propose to her, something she did not know. Well, this is where we get our first bit of extended universe. She explains to him, as they are about to leave, that her father, who is the producer of a dating game show for teens. What is it called? I don't remember. Oh, God. I gotta pull all this stuff up. Hang on. Truth or Date. It's called Truth or Date. I'm sorry, I didn't even have to look it up. I just remembered. He runs a show called Truth or Date. The female contestant that they were going to have on that day's episode is the one of the illustrious 12 that Dante slept with, the person whose funeral Dante and Randall went to in Clerks.
Yeah.
She died doing laps in a pool because of I can't remember this actor's name. Who? Okay, so it's
Jeremy Landon.
Jeremy Landon in this movie. So Jeremy Landon, before this movie starts, apparently tells this contestant that the camera adds a few pounds. This apparently sends her into a frenzy. She starts doing laps at a pool and dies of a brain aneurysm.
Yeah. Mid-stroke.
Died mid-backstroke. So now the woman whose name is Renee is now forced to be the female contestant at her dad's behest.
Or is it Brandy?
Brandy, that's right.
Okay.
Renee
Shannon Doherty.
Yes. Okay. So we'll get back to that. So Jeremy London is pissed off. They end up breaking up on the spot because she has to go on this dating website, dating game show. If this was made in 2018, is she like, I have to put my profile on a dating website?
I have to put my YouTube video on.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. God, I hate the time we live in. So, brokenhearted Jeremy London leaves to go speak to his best friend Brody, who is asleep at whatever PM, looks like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, wakes up to Shannon Doherty, berating him for not really giving a shit in their relationship. It's like, you won't introduce me to your mom. It's like, she's gonna hate you. He just starts playing hockey on Sega. That's where we get the famous line, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned for Sega. They break up. He frames their breakup letter, and then he and Jeremy London decide to go to a mall. There's really not a whole lot of plot that happens in there. So they go to the mall because they're Mallrats. They are our titular Mallrats. They go in there and discover that this Truth or Date game show is actually being filmed in their local mall. That's where they run into Jay and Silent Bob from Clerks. Once again, we're universe building here. They explain that, yes, Truth or Date is being held here, and that Jay and Bob were planning on wrecking it for some reason. I don't really remember. Just because
why not?
Because why not? And this is where my I'm going to get to this point right now. We have Clerks, a movie that is kind of wacky, but really is just two dudes hanging out in a convenience store talking for 90 minutes. To Mallrats, which turns into a Tom and Jerry cartoon. So Jay and Bob's whole plot in this movie is they're trying to destroy the set and keep the game show from going on.
Yeah.
Jeremy London then, I guess, just mopes around the mall for a while. Brody meets up with his ex-girlfriend, Renee. They fuck in an elevator. They're still broken up. We're introduced to Ben Affleck, who works at the Fashionably Male, who likes to have sex with women in a very uncomfortable place, not the back of a Volkswagen. They also meet up with a woman who is 16 years old. They make it a point to point out that this woman is 16 or 17 years old, and she is basically doing like sex data and compiling all of this research on... She's writing a book on male sex or something. Yeah. I don't really know. It's not very comfortable and hasn't aged well. No. We'll get back to that later. So, Michael Rourke, who is the father of the new game show contestant, has Jeremy London and Jason Lee kicked out of the mall. They come back into the mall. I think there's a bit where Jason Lee sticks his hand up his ass. This movie is not the best in this series, in my opinion.
And again, he wasn't stoned at this point.
He wasn't, and I feel like he had this movie in his back pocket, and they said like they wanted to give him a multi-picture deal with Miramax, and so he's like, "Oh, I'm going to do this movie." Was this 1995? I feel like there was other movies going around about like teenagers doing wacky shit.
Clueless was around about that
so
time.
He's basically trying to make Clueless at this point. This may not be true. I'm not going to at all make those claims.
It's not a great movie.
It's a cartoon. This is a live action cartoon.
And with dick jokes.
With a lot of dick jokes. And at one point, Joey Lauren Adams shows up, and she's in a changing room. Also not complaining about that.
No.
So...
but, yeah, Mallrats is the black sheep of this thing.
It is. It's not bad. It's just, when you compare it to... It follows Clerks, which, like... Man, you could have kept it simple and made it like, let's do Clerks, but in a mall setting sort of thing. Like, it's the it follows the sequel format, which is like, it's the same movie, but bigger. Yeah. And this is not the same movie. It is bigger, but I think this... There's too much going on, man.
I think this showed Kevin Smith what he couldn't do.
Yes.
I mean, like with Jurassic Park, you didn't think about whether or not you should. When it's the same thing with him. He should
kind of leapt a little bit when he should have taken a little bit of baby steps.
And now it's like, okay. Now I know, because he went back to the original format,
right?
The more low key format with Chasing Amy,
right? I
love that movie, man.
Chasing Amy is great. Mallrats, basically, it's two guys go to a mall after being dumped by their girlfriends. And then by the end of it, they're back together with their girlfriends, and then they leave the mall.
The magic of editing.
Yes, and then it's there's like one of those like Porky's like Where Are They Now montages where Brody's now the host of the Tonight Show, which in hindsight I would have really enjoyed seeing Jason Lee be the host of the Tonight Show. Because there are days I really, really wish Jimmy Fallon would just like, oh no, I'm blind, deaf, and my hands fell off. I can't do it anymore.
Well, he's still better than James Corden.
James Corden, wasn't he in Doctor Who for a while?
No, he was Gavin and Stacey. No, he was in Doctor Who for a while. That's right.
That's all I know.
He's
like, I've never heard anyone say something nice about James Corden. It's so great.
It's like... Everybody in Britain hates him.
He came over here to make his fortune?
The Brits over here like, oh, not that wanker.
Hey, didn't we kick you out of the last place you were in? I told you to get out of here, Corden.
It's like, I get off the plane, I look over, it's like, oh, James Corden and Piers Morgan live here. Oh, fuck.
No. I'm sorry to say I still very much miss, crap. No, I miss him, but I can't remember his name. The Scottish man who James Corden took his job.
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean.
I can't remember his name.
Craig Ferguson.
I miss Craig Ferguson.
The guy who didn't like being British. Good on you, sir. Good on you.
Hey, that's fine.
All right, so Chasing Amy, right?
Chasing Amy.
That, I think, is Kevin Smith's best movie for a start.
It is. No, it's not. It's not my opinion. That's not true. No. We'll get to that.
Okay. And that's not to say nothing else comes close, but I think this is his best movie because it's so personal.
Right.
And like Clerks, you believe the story. Mallrats' story, as I said, was just a bunch of fucking cartoony nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Clerks was outlandish, but it was a believable story. Maybe not all happening in the same day, but
right.
How many of it, like you said, how many of us haven't decided to just walk off a job for 30 minutes?
Right. Everything that happens in Clerks is very much believable.
Yeah. Mallrats, nothing was believable. No, but back to Chasing Amy, everything's kind of believable again.
It is, except for I don't believe that there's a lesbian out there with enough self-worth to think like, you know what, all I need is a good dick, and I just think I'll just go back to being straight. That's the part of the movie that kind of hasn't aged well for me.
No.
But other than that, the movie has a nice little message about, like, you know, the heart wants what the heart wants, I guess, is its overall message.
Yeah, and it's not even that, right? One of the reasons I like it, and it's, you know, you are right, it hasn't aged well, right? On the one hand. On the other hand, I think it's aged quite well. And let me explain what I mean by that.
Go ahead.
Back then, right? This movie couldn't be made now. Because, in all honesty, what Alyssa Jones's past was nobody's fucking business.
Right.
And at the end of the movie, when Holden doesn't get the girl, he doesn't get his best friend, he loses everything based on this shower of emotion. I think that's a good message, because it's none of his fucking business what she used to do. It's none of his business what his best friend that kind of thing.
Right.
So in that way, it's aged well, because in the Toms, we know it's not my business that you're a lesbian. It's not my business that whatever. But at the time, they were he tried to portray Holden as the good guy.
Right, and
that's the bit that hasn't aged well.
No, if they went back now, it would be very much he would have been painted in the sense that, like, well, I mean, like, do you think that you're the end all be all of someone's life, and that, like,
yeah,
do you really think that someone is just gonna see you and just go, you know what, I'm just gonna go back to fucking everybody else too?
Yeah, and you know, it does have some good moments, right? Silent Bob's speech is
classic.
Is probably one of the high points of the series, right? The Jaws comparison of sex injuries.
Yes! Oh my god, that actually is pretty damn great.
I love that, man. That's, you know. I loved Hooper X.
Oh, is that the What's a Nubian scene?
Yes. That scene had me cracking up.
What's a Nubian? Bitch, you almost made me laugh.
But, I mean, it's just...
Cameo by Matt Damon.
Yeah, cameo by Matt Damon. Dante Hicks makes a cameo as one of his uncles or something like that.
Right.
But I mean, it's just it tugged at the heartstrings, and it was one of the few comedy dramas that, you know, you didn't want the good guy to you didn't want the protagonist to get what he wanted, because it just didn't feel right.
Right. And
the reason it was so personal is because that's how Kevin Smith viewed his relationship with Joey Lauren Adams, because they were dating at the time. And a lot of they were dating, and then he wrote Chasing Amy as his apology. I don't know, but I mean, it was how he dealt with his feelings. Because he was, I won't say paraphrasing, but I read that he was embarrassed that he had the feelings that he did. If that makes sense.
I guess so.
I mean,
I always heard that he started writing Chasing Amy because his girlfriend went on vacation and he didn't get to go, which is on one of the Kevin Smith DVDs. I don't know if that's true.
And it was Joey Lauren.
Sure.
Yeah,
okay.
So, but I mean, I love it. I think it's fantastic. No, I think that's the best, but my favorite is Dogma.
Dogma was my first introduction.
Yeah.
That was where that was my, like, it opened with the text about platypus.
Yes.
And I thought that was a nice, that Dogma is in the same ballpark as Monty Python's Life of Brian.
Yes.
It is absolutely 100% a comedy movie that makes you think.
And not just unlike the Life of Brian. Okay. Kevin Smith is a Catholic, and the joke is, and I agree with this. No matter what you do in life, no matter what, you know, you could Irish comedian Darryl Bryn said you could join the Taliban and not believe in God, and all you'd be regarded as a bad Catholic, right? So, you know, and I'm in that pool, right? So, you know, learning more of the kind of the dogmatic nature of the faith was one thing, but the way he handled it was with, you know, humor and action, stuff like that. But I mean, like Life of Brian, it wasn't a parody of the religion, it was a parody of how
the interpretation,
yeah, because Life of Brian has Jesus in two scenes. The scene and the very beginning of the movie, his birth and the Sermon on the Mount. And both times they handled that element with respect.
Right. They're not focused on Jesus. They're kind of like the camera's over here and Jesus is over here doing
he's doing his thing.
Right.
And then in Roseate you have people like, I can't hear what he's saying.
I think he said, blessed are the cheesemakers. What? Surely that's something else. Or maybe he means all manufacturers of dairy products.
Yes. I mean, and that was the same thing with this. It wasn't a religion sucks, ha 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 ha,
no.
Or religion rules. Yeah, it was more...
Isn't this kind of silly how we've thought about this?
Yeah, it was his way of dealing with his faith. And, you know, some of the funniest crap in this movie, man, that he ever did, you know, Salma Hayek stripping for a start. That was a great scene.
Yes. Stripping to Candy Girl by New Edition, that was great. And like the gang members... And Jay and Bob like doing like the dueling like
the dueling dollars.
Dueling dollars, yes. I thought that was great. And then we find out she's an angel, and it just does. It kind of takes the sexiness away from it.
It's like, So
I don't know why, but that just like manipulated them. Sucked the air out of all of that for me. It's just like, I don't want to sit and lust over an angel. I feel kind of dirty.
Well, Chris Rock as the 13th Apostle.
The 13th Apostle. That's a great bit. I think this is where Jason Mewes shines.
Yes.
Jason Mewes' best work is in Dogma. And I'm not trying to knock Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, but Jason Mewes is on point in every single thing he does in this movie.
And you know why that is?
It's because he memorized the entire script.
He memorized the entire script. For those who don't know, right? He was battling his addictions, and this is one of the times where he beat them, or at least
he was clean for this movie. Yeah,
right. He knocked them. He didn't necessarily beat them at this point, but he at least knocked them out.
Right.
And Kevin Smith said, "Look, you know, I love you. You're my brother. You're my hetero life mate, but."
I mean, this is a big deal of a movie, you know?
We have people like Rickman coming on board. You have to be clean, you have to be so... And apparently he was the most professional of the bunch out of the whole thing.
Yep.
And I think because of the quality of actor that was in that movie. I mean, Chris Rock's a great comedian, but he is a good actor. Linda Fiorentino is a little dry in the personality and doesn't get on with anybody she works with.
Right. Apparently, according to Kevin Smith, he wishes that instead he wanted to work with Jeanine Garofalo instead. I would have enjoyed seeing that movie.
That would have been good too. Alan Rickman is fucking Alan Rickman.
This is where I fell in love with Alan Rickman.
And George Carlin is a great actor. Cardinal Glick.
I don't think George Carlin's dead. I'm pretty sure he's still around here somewhere. Because I remember George Carlin was like, I'm pretty sure no, he's not dead. He was just here for a second ago. No, he's fine.
That was so funny. Slight sidebar. He did a HBO special. Right, his last HBO special. I think it was called "It Was Bad for You." And in one bit in there, he's talking about death. He's talking about, I'm 70 now. I'm getting old. And he's talking about death. And inevitably, you'll hear this conversation. Hey, did you hear? Phil Davis died. Phil Davis? I just saw him 2 days ago. Yeah. Didn't fucking help. Probably meeting you made his illness worse. You were responsible for Phil's death.
You killed Phil!
Right? So I said that, right, because, and I swear to God, we saw that. 2 weeks later, he's dead. I'm watching the news. The news comes through. Send the wife a text. Hey, George Carlin died. And she said it. She said a text back. We just saw his special 2 weeks ago. It's like, yeah, didn't help.
You just set
we
it
killed
up, man.
George.
Nice.
But Jason Lee's a great actor too.
I think everyone is on point in this movie. Like Ben Affleck has this great character arc as where's he? He's Bartleby. He starts out as this really sympathetic character. He just wants to go back to heaven.
He just wants to go home.
He just wants to go home. And then after a while, you realize like he wants to go home at any cost. He knows the consequences of him going back to heaven, and he doesn't care.
I him and Damon's character kind of flip. Because you don't want Matt Damon to go to heaven because he's just randomly murdering people.
Right.
He's an asshole, and then all of a sudden, after the train sequence, that's where they flip. No ticket.
I'm sorry. I want to get back to Loki murdering people. it almost seems like, and there's no like malice in it when he does it.
No,
he does seem like he's having fun, but at the same time, like that boardroom scene when Bartleby has just ran everybody down.
Yeah,
you're just like, yeah, motherfucker, Loki, gun these motherfuckers down. Sidebar on that scene, the reason why that everyone in that boardroom is like a big burly dude, Kevin Smith originally wanted to film the inside of the boardroom, all these people getting murked. And then when he got there, he was like, I don't know how to film all that shit.
Well, see, and that's the other thing too, you know, it's, on the one hand, just walking up to somebody and killing them, that's horrible, but he justifies it because of his faith, because I'm the angel of death, motherfucker. Right. You know, this is what I do. What, you're an idolater? Sorry, I gotta kill you. That's my job. You know? And
then he becomes sympathetic to everybody at the end of it. He gets his... That's harsh. Him drunk at the end of that movie is rough when Bartleby fucking shanks him.
Yeah.
Also, this is the first time that... not the last time that Matt Damon would end up playing Loki. If you remember in Thor Ragnarok, he's playing... that, like, a theater version of that Loki. I just think that's kind of funny.
The thing about this movie, right, is, you know, it touched upon everything, right? It touched upon everything that Kevin Smith is... It was supposed to be the end of everything, right? And maybe they would do something else, but this was supposed to be it, right? It was supposed to be the end of everything. And... Alanis Morissette is God. You know, just...
Yep. Once again, going back to Kevin Smith thinking everything should be Canadian, he even famously said that he always thought God was Canadian. I don't know why. He's really like deifying the Canadians. You notice that? I don't know if there's a. Good.
Maybe they've got maybe they got some pictures of him. You know,
he's got to like push the Canadians really hard. Just like they're gonna release the videotape of me. I don't know. Like he like curb stomps an old lady or something. I don't know. That would be pretty horrifying.
Oh my!
I'm sorry.
I can just picture Silent Bob curb stomping, then going no ticket.
Alright, so he finishes up with Dogma. It's a great movie, and everyone loves it, but you know what really is the breakout star of that movie? The Jay and Silent Bob characters!
Yeah. Woo! I think that this was their biggest role in so far.
It was, and not only that, it kind of like they were fucking heroes of this movie.
They were the prophets.
They were the prophets. They in the previous movies, there's these background wacky characters. The closest thing you can call them to heroes is in Mallrats when they're helping our heroes do the thing, but they're just wacky side characters. And then I am absolutely positive that Kevin Smith was given an inordinate amount of money to do Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
That paid for everything.
Everything. He bought Ben Affleck's old house with that money. Yes. I absolutely know that. So, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. We open on a baby. Two babies in a stroller being pushed to the front of the RST video in famous Leonardo, New Jersey.
Yep.
The two mothers just kind of leave them there as they go off and do
what
stuff.
They do.
And they then like hard dissolve into their Jay and Silent Bob.
And that was Kevin Smith's daughter as well.
It was Harley Quinn Smith as a young Silent Bob. Yeah. The things that child is going to have to endure in therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
my dad was Silent fucking Bob.
Right. I mean, so, there's probably a movie between, like Jay and Silent Bob babies to Jay and Silent Bob in their 30s, but it opens with them doing the famous motherfuck, noich shtick. It's what's lined Jason Lee's pockets for 2 decades now. So they get sent on a wild goose chase when they find out that there's a movie being made about them. Oh wait, no, they get kicked off of they get a restraining order. Yeah, they get a restraining order. They're banned from the Quick Stop and RST video. They go see their buddy Brody, who is no longer the host of the Tonight Show. He runs a comic book shop called The Secret Stash, which is actually Kevin Smith's actual comic book shop.
And they talk about the movie, and then they send him to
Holden from Chasing Amy. And the music that plays... We haven't talked about any of the music from any of these movies, but I just want to touch on this one piece. And it's as they're going up to the Holden's loft, and he slides open the door, and I don't know the name. There's like
yes,
that's great. I love that. I used to bump that track all the time. Yeah, I said bump that track.
Yes.
So they get told that there's a Jay and Silent Bob movie being made by Miramax. They then decide that they're going to Hollywood to get this movie shut down.
Basically, Mallrats with the biggest screen.
It's American Mallrats. It's Mallrats in the mall that is America.
One thing I learned from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back that Affleck was the fucking bomb in Phantoms.
He was I don't know if you've ever seen Phantoms.
No,
it's not a good movie. It's not a very good movie. It's did you ever see Mimic? Do you know what that movie is?
I did not see Mimic.
Okay, Mimic was a movie directed by Guillermo del Toro in 1997, I think. Mimic is what Phantoms wishes it was.
Poor Phantoms.
Yeah, well, if we ever decide to just do like a bad movie marathon, where trust me, man, I have no shortage of knowledge of that crap. So, Affleck's the bomb in Phantoms. They get sent off on their wild goose chase to Hollywood from New Jersey to get this movie shut down. They run into all sorts of characters. They start hitchhiking because... No, they go to the bus first.
Yes.
And they find out, like, what? Since when do you gotta pay to ride the bus? Didn't we ride that shit all the time for free when we were kids? Yeah, classic Jay and Silent Bob. They quite literally are our generation's Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
The only difference is that I have no doubt in my mind that they would cause the end of the world as opposed to stop the end of the world.
Although they did stop it in Dogma.
They did, but they helped to stop it. And to be fair, Jay almost really did cause it.
It can't pull its big bird.
Actually, no. Jay almost caused it, and Jay gave that expository line of dialogue that led Linda Cardellini, fucking
Linda Fiorentino.
the last scion, the last scion to the hospital. Anyway, I got back to Dogma. Fucking Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So they can't ride the bus. They decide to go hitchhiking. They run into George Carlin, and it's so happy to see George Carlin, where he tells them that you have to follow the unwritten rules of the road, and that is, if you want to ride, you got to make with the head.
Yep.
And George Carlin blows a trucker as he drives off into the sunset. They are then picked up by our first big celebrity cameo, Carrie Fisher, as a nun. She's sitting in the back, or no, Jay and Bob are sitting in the back seat as they get picked up by the nun, and they have just been told by a hitchhiker that if you want to get anywhere along the road, you have to give people head. Comedy ensues. Jay gets told to sit up front, and through a bunch of dialogue, he ends up trying to perform cunnilingus on Carrie Fisher, who then kicks them both out of her car, and they start walking.
And they meet the Scooby-Doo gang.
They keep walking on into the night, and they run into the Scooby-Doo gang, which I guess was a dream, because they meet Scooby-Doo gang, they start arguing in the van. Jay and Bob seemingly get everyone in the van high, but then it cuts to them, they're just asleep in the van.
Yeah.
And that's when they decide, let's cut out their kidneys, leave them in a seedy hotel bathtub full of ice. and then but then they wake up on a bench. Yeah. And they're just hanging out, and that's when they go into movies. Them waking up on a bench reminds me of something that I wanted to talk to. It was my favorite joke in Dogma. When they're by the campfire and Jay wakes up suddenly next to Bob and goes, "No, Pete didn't come in you, I swear." I laughed my ass off on that. Okay. So they wake up on a park bench. I don't know whether they actually met Scooby in the gang. I don't know if that was a dream or not. That's a kind of a weird bit. Again, these movies are cartoons.
Yeah.
So they go to the View Askewniverse restaurant of movies.
Yes.
Which, why didn't we get a movies? Why wasn't a movies franchise ever actually licensed?
He should have done that. He'd have made a shit ton of money.
He would have. We got a goddamn Kenny Rogers Roasters. I don't even like fucking Kenny Rogers that much. No. So they go to movies. They're about to order their food when who should they run into but Justice, played by Shannon Elizabeth, who is fucking gorgeous, to the point in which Jay gets a fucking rock hard erection that Silent Bob just puts like a cup over. And I don't know what did he think was going to happen? Dude, no, man, just let his erection show. Don't put a cup over it.
That's how you're drawing attention to it.
Yeah, right? It's just like, oh man, don't want to put this, don't want anyone to look at this. Better throw some glitter on it. So they hook up with Justice and they find out that they've got Sissy, Missy, and Chrissy.
And Sean William Scott.
Because
they didn't need enough American Pie actors to begin with.
Oh my! They got everyone from American Pie, with the exception of one dude who's not Ollie Lauder. Who's the Sharknado woman?
Yeah, Tara
Reid. Yes, Tara.
Almost a Tara Strong.
Tara Pepperoni Nipples Reid. So they meet up with those 5 in their van. They throw Sean William Scott out of the van by screaming "sheep fucker." There's a deleted scene where he actually zips his pants down and walks up to a sheep, a terrible CGI sheep. They drive on into the night, and then we cut to something else in which we discover that those 4 women are actually fugitives, and they're
diamond thieves.
They're diamond thieves, but they're posing as eco-terrorists. Which leads us to
the monkey,
Will fucking Ferrell. Will Ferrell is in this movie, and I don't think Kevin Smith gets nearly enough credit for launching Will Ferrell's career, because Will Ferrell is a fucking huge part of the comedy in this movie. It's not a cameo. This man fucking keeps popping up. So, Will Ferrell shows up as some fucking environmental police or something like that, and no, these women. Is this? Am I doing this out of order? Is this before or after the diamond heist?
No, they did the diamond heist and they got the monkey at the same time.
Okay, so
they cover the fact of the diamond heist.
Right. Okay, so they convinced Jay and Bob to go into this animal testing facility to steal a monkey, or to let all the animals out and steal a monkey, while they are next door stealing diamonds. I don't know who zoned this block of places. It's just like, you know what? We need to put an animal testing facility right next to a really secure bank vault. What if we need to put a monkey in a safe? What, we're going to drive 15 miles to the nearest bank to put a monkey in a safe? No, we're going to walk across the street like God-fearing human beings. So the women steal the diamonds, they accidentally fart and set off an alarm, which is set up earlier in the movie by Jay saying, "You girls eat fast food, don't you know that makes bitches fart?" Love that line for some reason. They make off with the diamonds, and they set fire to the van, and they frame Jay and Bob for the heist and also the animal releasing. Yeah. That's when we're introduced to not Judd Hirsch. Oh, he's in Breakfast Club.
Judd Nelson.
We're introduced to Judd Nelson. Yes, Judd Nelson is fucking harsh. So we're introduced to Judd Nelson, who's the lead detective on this case, but he is overshadowed by Will Ferrell, who shows up and just makes a fool of everything.
Because he's Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, what'd I say?
No, because he's Will Ferrell.
Because he's Will Ferrell, yes, you're right. And he's been carrying that character in every single movie for the next fucking 10 years. We go to the desert where Jay has a vision of what would eventually become the remake of Planet of the Apes by Tim Burton. They decide to take the monkey. How do they get caught? They're in a diner with the monkey. They dress the monkey up. And they go out and they do this. They just no, this is me and my gay partner and our love child. Actually, I'm not 100% gay. I got this baby from this real fine woman I do on the side, but this guy's 100% queer. And then he has the line, he loves the cock, which haunts fucking video game chat rooms to this day. They escape the police through a series of Winnie the Pooh escapades. And then the monkey gets taken to Critters of Hollywood. They have that lovely little moment where Jay's trying, or Silent Bob's trying to fucking charades what he's trying to convey to Jay. And it's like, Jay's like, look, man, just talk, man. You don't got no problem telling that stupid Amy story. Every once in a while, I just wanted to say, hey, Jay's over there. Or, Jay, those are some really good cheese fries. And fucking Silent Bob loses his shit on him and starts yelling at him.
I remember that, but that's one of my
They fucking end up in Hollywood. Jay, who is thinks his girlfriend is dead because of the diamond building that they were... No, because the van blew up in front of him. He thinks they were in the van. So he thinks his girlfriend is dead. Gets a ride to Hollywood with Silent Bob and a woman in a Jeep who he is apparently going down on in this whole thing. That's when that's one of those moments where, like, me being me, I'm just like, oh, you're an asshole, dude. Like, your girl's been dead a day. So they run into Tracy Morgan and another drug dealer, and I realize that they are Jay and Silent Bob West Coast.
Okay.
Tracy Morgan is just running his mouth with Jay the entire time, and he's got this big dude behind him who doesn't say anything. That is they are literally the same fucking characters. They even pull out the little fucking, like, drug dealer union card and start talking about they're gonna go on strike or something. So they get a map. They go to the lot where the monkey is, or no, they don't. They just find the monkey, don't they?
I can't remember. Honestly.
I think they just give up on the monkey and just happen across it because they crashed the set of Scream 3, which had not been in production yet.
No.
This is 1999 or 2001. Scream 3 didn't actually come out until 2003, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I blame this movie for Scream 3 getting made. Because I think that fucking Wes Craven was like, I don't want to make Scream 3, and they're just like, we want you to make Scream 3, and he's like, I'm gonna put Jay and Silent Bob in it. And they're like, done. And they called him on his bluff, and he did put... Scream 3 is a terrible movie.
Yes.
Because they decided to go PG-13, but that's a whole nother thing.
So, yeah.
So they find the monkey. They find the set in which they are shooting Jay and Silent Bob, and when they run into Jason Biggs and James Vanderbeek, who are playing the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, or playing Blunt Man and Chronic in the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, they... knock them out, don their costumes, and now they're on the set of the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, and they are introduced to our next big celebrity cameo, Cockknocker. It's Mark Hamill! Hey kids, it's Mark Hamill! Applause! I really want to believe that they asked Harrison Ford to be in this movie, and he told them to fuck right off.
Probably.
Yeah. So Mark Hamill shows up. He is in full fucking Batman the Animated Series Joker mode.
Oh yeah,
it is fucking great. He's got a huge fist. He punches Jason Mewes in the dick. They have a light sword fight. Don't want to say lightsaber because we'll get fucking sued. They have the bong saber. The bong saber fight. It's fucking cool. And then the fucking who is it from? Chasing Amy. Banky.
Because he owns the rights to the comic.
Yes, he owns the rights to the Blunt Man Chronic because Holden sold all of his shares. I really hate that we skipped the Good Will Hunting 2 joke, but if you haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to ruin that for you. It's a really great... It's hunting season. Yes. Applesauce, bitch.
Now, they didn't ask Harrison Ford to be part of the movie, according to IMDb, but... Because they knew he wouldn't do it, right? Because he's a very, very straight-laced man. But they did put, like, 3 or 4 different references to The Fugitive in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're on the dam at one point?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, but, yeah, they actually do the whole thing where they all pretend to jump off. They're hanging on a ledge, and Will Ferrell jumps off. Wow.
But yeah, I mean, you know, but then again, everybody did The Fugitive.
Yeah,
everybody's done that.
That was a really big movie when it came out.
Yeah.
And not only that scene was probably more famous than the movie before that movie came out because of that dummy that they used for the scene. Okay, so The Fugitive.
I didn't kill my wife.
I don't care. Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. So that dummy that they throw off, they made a huge deal about how it was like, it moves just like it's all got all the articulations of a human being. And you're just like, okay, that sounds really, and we spent $14 million on it. It's like, that sounds stupid. And then you're just like, okay, and we're going to go shoot the scene where we throw it and it's going to look like a person. And it's like, no, it looks like you threw a fucking $14 million dummy off the fucking Hoover Dam, you fucking morons. And you wonder why there's an economic problem. You spent $14 million on a fucking dummy.
I mean, yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It is ridiculous because, I mean, that movie in particular didn't need any CGI or special effects.
No, it was a movie about, it was a whodunit. It was a fucking Agatha Christie movie or something
with
fucking
guns and
yeah. I prefer the spoof movie, which was, damn it.
It was Leslie Nielsen.
It was Leslie Nielsen. I remember the poster. Of course it was Leslie Nielsen. I remember the poster. That's all I remember.
Oh, man, I've got to look. His wife was killed by the one-armed, one-eyed, one-legged man.
Yes, uh-huh.
Now I've got to find what that
please.
is. Because that's going to bother me.
But Jay and Bob end up getting the movie. Like, they don't stop the movie from being made. It is going to be made. Banky very much informs them that there's nothing they can do. They end up settling on getting half of the money when he offers them 2/3, but Jay is such an idiot, he only takes them up for half. The movie gets made, everyone has a good time, Morstay and the Time show up, and they dance to Jungle Love. It's really cool. Credits.
Roll credits.
Roll credits, and then it rolls through, and at the very end of the credits, of course, God is there holding the View Askewniverse book, shutting the book. And that should have been, it could have been the end of it. I'm not going to say should have, because we're going to move on to what I think is my favorite in the series, which is Clerks 2.
Clerks 2, okay. Now, before we dive into Clerks 2 real quick, that movie was called Wrongfully Accused.
Thank you.
Okay. But no, Clerks 2, that's, okay. It's a damn good movie.
It is.
It's for a start, as a sequel, it could so easily be standalone.
It could.
All of the jokes kind of wind up here, right? Mm-hmm. You know, when Rosario Dawson's calling him and he looks up and he goes, God? That was such a subtle joke.
Because in
God
their mind, like,
is a woman.
We know God's a woman. We know God's a woman. We've met God, and it's like, it's not anything. Of course, like, Jay probably, if he was like, God, oh, God. Like, he should have covered his ears immediately. He was like, okay, whoa, don't.
The fact that he is a sober drug dealer.
Yes, he's got his blue chip, and he's...
I got to earn, don't I?
Uh-huh. And he says he's a business owner, that's fine, yeah.
That whole thing of, why'd you get arrested? Oh, I was driving with a deployed airbag.
Yeah, right, suspicion of mischief.
Yeah, that's actually what happened to Muse when they threw him into rehab. He was driving a stolen car with the airbag deployed.
But I heard that the reason he stole a car was because, like, he was trying to get away from something. It wasn't like Jason Mewes is super fucked up. He stole a car with a deployed airbag. Like, he was trying to get
away from something.
Yes. He was in a facility that, like, was not treating him right at all.
No. And that's when they put him in a
better
facility.
It's Malibu.
That's right.
So Jersey Girl fails. Let's just talk about that for just a brief second.
Cards on the Table. I love that movie.
I've never seen that movie.
Okay.
Why did it fail?
Because of Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck.
That's why it failed? That makes sense.
And the thing is, Jennifer Lopez is only in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. I heard they had to cut a lot of her stuff, though. Like, there is more of it.
Geely was terrible.
Yes.
Right? And so they're advertising this movie as what was it? J-Lo and Affleck, Bennifer. That's it, Bennifer. The fucking
Bennifer movie.
Goofiest fucking thing I hate in life right now.
Yeah.
Putting two people's names together. Anyway.
There's a word for that and I can't remember.
So that failed, but the thing is that character, Jennifer Lopez's character, is only in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Mm-hmm. But the people who didn't see the movie didn't see that. They thought it was just another Jennifer Lopez, Ben Affleck
Right. Movie. The movie was going to fail because of the press before it ever came out. Which sucks.
It does suck because you know what? It's a heartwarming movie.
It's Kevin Smith's attempt at a John Hughes movie.
And you know what? I think he pulled it off. I say he pulled it off.
One of these days I'll give it a watch.
It's PG-13. Mm-hmm. So it's not it's not got a full complement of dick and fart jokes.
No, but I mean it's fine.
But I mean, it's his first movie without Jason Mewes.
He's not in the movie at all?
Nope. At that point, they weren't talking because he relapsed again.
Oh, yeah.
And his part went to Jason Biggs. This was Kevin Smith's first Jersey Girl was Kevin Smith's first attempt to work with Bruce Willis.
Jersey Girl? Was he in Jersey Girl?
No. Do you remember Bruce Willis had the character of Bruno in the 80s with the music and everything like that? Okay. Ben Affleck's character plays a publicist.
Mm-hmm.
His wife dies during childbirth. He comes back to work way too early, and they're advertising this new up-and-coming musician, and he snaps and says nobody's going to fucking remember him in 2 years' time, and god damn it, blah, 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 blah. Kevin Smith wanted that to be Bruno and use Bruce Willis. Didn't work out.
No, I'm sure that Bruce Willis strikes me as the type of person that doesn't like the joke to be on him.
No. So they changed it to Will Smith.
I heard he was in that movie, so that makes sense.
So Will Smith shows up as Will Smith, and he's not playing like a caricature of Will Smith. He's just playing Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's scripted, obviously, but I mean, the end of that movie shows that Affleck's character, he's trying to get back into the publishing business because he misses the lifestyle and stuff like that.
Right.
And he meets Will Smith, and Will Smith starts talking about his kids and how they're the most important thing to him and everything. And then he goes back and lives his life as a humble whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Roll credits. Liv Tyler in a bra. That's my favorite part of the movie.
George Carlin's in it. George Carlin's probably great.
George Carlin played Affleck's dad and was George Carlin.
Yeah, George Carlin. You can't have George do anything except be George or Mr. Conductor.
He was a sarcastic, acid-tongued father with a heart of gold.
I love it.
So George Carlin. But because of how it failed, I don't want to say failed, but because
it flopped.
It flopped.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't a bad movie. It just didn't resonate.
Right.
He went back to the well. Made Clerks 2, had to basically plead Jeff Anderson to come back.
Oh, yeah. Jeff did not want to do it.
No.
And then...
He's the rumored pullout for Clerks 3.
Is he?
Yeah, which...
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, he didn't want to do Clerks 2, and he doesn't like to be associated with the character. Because
Randall's kind of a shithead.
And he got typecast very quickly.
Yeah.
Because of that distinctive voice and the way he pulled it off. But apparently Jeff Anderson is like the complete opposite of Randall.
I believe that. But, I mean, like, he made that character so well. And it fucking, like, at that point, you should just, like, fuck it, I'm Randall. I should just become this character.
Right. And I think what made Clerks 2, right? Everybody was expecting it to be, 36 more dicks. I'm still not supposed to be here today.
Yeah.
And they didn't do any of that.
Nope.
Which I'm glad for. Although they did make a nod at the end of the movie. It's like, you're not supposed to be here today. Ha 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 ha. Because it's our business now. Yeah.
It really didn't repeat the same jokes, and I very much appreciate that.
Elias.
Elias is great. Elias is a great, third, he's...
the butt of every joke.
He is, and I think he's there because they didn't want it to be... They needed to put Dante in a position of power over Randall. So they needed to put someone
under
Randall so that he could keep. He needed someone to kick because he can't keep. It gets old watching him kick Dante.
Pillow pants.
The fucking pussy trolls.
Yes.
Okay, so Pillow Pants and Listerfiend.
Yes.
They wanted to film a scene where they showed the trolls.
No, that was Harvey Weinstein.
What? They wanted that?
Harvey Weinstein wanted it, and Kevin Smith was like, but the joke is you don't see it.
Yeah, right? Do you want me to just have Muse dress up like a troll? Like,
can I at least keep the wooden pussy?
Yeah, right? Just like a big, like, they just, like, take the biggest lot they have out there, just build a big, like, ceramic vagina for him to sit in.
I think he played the troll as well
yes.
when they filmed it. And it's like, yeah, this doesn't work, we need to cut it out. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, thanks for telling us to film this. The thing that really made me happy is when the movie opens. It's like they were still working at the fucking Quick Stop in RST. And then it's on fire. And it goes from black and white and it fades into color. And it's just, and it's almost the movie's way of saying, is like, hey boys, reality just kicked in. Yeah. And now y'all gotta go into the real world
And they jump straight into fast food.
And they jump straight into the fucking fast food workers, which, like, I'm sure that if you've ever had to work fast food, you don't want to be there.
No.
Nobody wants to work fast food. And the fact that, like, fuck it, pay them $15 an hour. I don't want to fucking do it.
No,
for the love of God, like, if you don't believe they deserve that much money, work it a day.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's a pain in the ass, and it never stops.
Well, here's my thoughts on that. People are against $15 an hour as a minimum wage because they don't want to be paid a minimum wage salary.
Okay.
In their mentality, it's
I'm
going to be paid. Wait, my job went from highly skilled to being paid minimum wage. What the hell?
How about we can say we need to get the verbiage right and start calling it a living wage,
definitely.
Which is fine.
But I'm for it, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
Seriously.
So, Quick Stop and RST burned to the ground, and they missed an opportunity for a good joke, which, when Randall walks in, he's just reading, and he doesn't even notice that everything's on fire and burned, and he walks in, and they push him back out, and he looks, and he goes and he sits down next to Dante, and he goes, terrorist? And even in 2006, I even thought it was like, dated joke.
I left the fucking coffee pot on again, didn't I?
I wanted him so bad to just go, you left the coffee pot on again, didn't you? And then Dante go, no, you left the coffee pot on. And then I realized like that would have been the dynamic that they had in the Clerks, the animated series.
That bit right there, right? Mm-hmm. I think that was a good, this is not going to be the same movie, but it is going to be the same movie. You know, it brought familiarity and everything like that. The thing about that movie is, right, and Randall hit the nail on the head, right? We wasted our lives in a fucking convenience store. No, I got paid to hang out with my friends and watch movies all day.
Yeah, right?
I mean,
life well spent.
Oh, well, you need to earn a proper job and everything like that. Well, as long as you're paying your bills.
Yeah, right?
It's like
making a living is what you make of it, man.
Exactly. It's like we were talking about Chasing Amy earlier. It's none of your fucking business what I do, as long as I'm paying my bills, you know?
I'll define my success, god damn it.
And that's the thing. Randall considered his life a success, whereas Dante constantly felt like a failure because he was looking at it from...
He was doing what he thought he was supposed to.
Yeah. Like he was going to become manager of a car wash. Yeah.
Which would have just been a front for drugs. We all know that. Car washes are fronts for drugs. Everyone knows that.
Except Jimmy's Car Wash. No, I'm just kidding.
Are they a sponsor of the show? Well, Jimmy's Car Wash will detail your car. So after the Quick Stop and RST burned down, Randall and Dante get jobs at movies. We're back at movies.
Back at movies.
And Randall does not get promoted. It was clear to me that Dante got promoted. Yeah. Randall still doesn't have a car. Dante has to go pick him up every morning. They play that wonderful Talking Head song, Covered with Daisies, I think it's what it's called. And they drive to work, and it is very clear that Randall has not grown up.
Nope.
And Dante has not pulled the stick out of his ass. Like, he's very uptight.
Dante is still shitting. He can't get off the puck yet.
Exactly. He can't make the decision. So Randall has a fiance. Not Randall. Dante has a fiance who he's got to move away with and take over one of her father's car washes, leaving Randall behind. And it is very clear the moment you know this that Randall does not like this.
No.
We meet Rosario Dawson, who... Where were we?
Played Becky.
She's Becky. Rosario Dawson, at peak Rosario Dawson. I've never seen a more attractive Rosario Dawson in my entire life. She is fine. So, and why? This is how I know Kevin Smith is a fucking fantasy writer, because he always writes these insanely gorgeous, beautiful women to just like bang these schlubs of human beings, which, like, in my own experience is like, I'm a schlub of a human being, and I'm pretty sure that my girlfriend used to be a model. What the fuck's wrong with me?
Well, I mean, you've seen Schwalbach.
Yes,
I mean, that's
I guess
I loved imitating life, imitating art.
I guess so, but at the same time, it's just like, Brian O'Halloran, I love you to death, man. I got to meet you one time, and I love you, but there ain't no fucking way that you're pulling Rosario Dawson. Brian, if you're listening to this, do me a favor, man. Prove me wrong. And if you do prove me wrong, I will eat one of my shoes.
There you go.
Only one of them, because I have to eat the other shoe because AJ Styles became WWE champion.
Oh.
I'll get into that later. Yeah. Me and my big mouth. So
I love the Becky character. I think that character is
she's
fantastic.
great. And I think that like this is the person that Dante needed his entire life.
Yeah.
Which I guess kind of puts a message out there. It's like, hey, you know, you never know when that right person's going to jump into your life, so don't settle for something that you know isn't what you want.
Exactly. Because that whole movie, he's still like
he does not
going along with the flow of everything.
Oh,
he followed Randall to movies. He's getting married. He doesn't necessarily want to get married, but he's getting married because it's the right thing to do. He's going to do the car wash because it's the right thing to do. You know, Randall is peak Randall. The Helen Keller and Frank scene. The first time I watched it, I was like, can't do that, can you? Yeah.
No.
And then I watched it a second, and it was actually a real funny commentary on how the internet is full of fucking trolls.
Yes. Just horrible people who just can't wait to get a rise out of people. Like, that's why I don't read. Whatever you do, don't read the comment section.
No.
On anything that you find, don't read the comment section. It's just going to make you angry.
Sometimes I do, just to remind myself, you know, that I can't deal with these people.
I had to remove myself from the online world. So Dante was about to leave, and so Randall has this big plan. He's going to give him a big sending off party, so he's planning on booking a donkey show.
Yes.
Kinky Kelly.
And the sexy
stud. So Elias is in on this, and he's like, don't you tell anyone or I'll brain you. So he books this Kinky Kelly show. Jay and Bob are still doing their shtick outside, selling weed. Dante and Becky have a dance scene on top, set to a Jackson 5 song. ABC. And then there's a big, like, Bollywood dance number. This is when this is the head scratcher of the movie for me. It's like, okay, I felt like that Kevin Smith always wanted to direct a dance number, and so he just wanted to put it in the.
He actually said that he knew how it started, he knew how it was going to end, and he knew he wanted a dance scene in there. And I think that the dance scene was he couldn't. Okay, Brian O'Hara, love you, dude. He's not the greatest of greatest actors, right? And at the time when Becky was doing the dance, the ABC song, you know, and he's got that look on, on his face. Like at that moment, Kevin Smith said, at that moment, that's what I wanted to picture. I wanted to picture him completely and utterly in love with this person, and he's just realizing it.
Right.
And the dancers outside doing all the moves and everything was supposed to represent his euphoria.
Oh, okay, I got you. It's totally turning into a Bollywood number. I got it. So Dante discovers that he is absolutely in love with Becky, and that's when Becky drops the bombshell that she's pregnant. Oh my god!
May your first child be a masculine child.
I know. It's so great. He just can't. He does not know. Poor Randall.
He can't do it.
Yes. Well, poor fucking Dante. He just can't keep it to himself. He has to go fucking tell his best friend that, like, oh my god, I got a girl pregnant, and his fucking best friend.
And it's not my fiance.
Yeah, it's not my fucking fiance. And then they have a falling out. Becky leaves. This is after there's a Jason Lee cameo in which they do the oh my god, can't believe we didn't touch on this. So
taking it back.
So I don't know if this is supposed to be funny, if it's satirical, if it hasn't aged well.
No.
I just know that watching it for the first time in theaters was incredibly uncomfortable. Not only does he like keep dropping the thing, but then he drops the N-bomb in the middle of that. It's just like, oh my god. It's like when Tarantino writes all that stuff, and you kind of like, dude, Quentin, what are you fucking doing? And I get it, it's a big joke, haha, we laugh, but we live in a world where a lot of people don't get jokes, and so when you do racial stuff like that, it hurts.
It was, I think, look, I'm not saying Kevin Smith's audience is not the most intelligent folks in the world, because they are really, really intelligent.
They are, but
and
they're
Kevin
also...
Smith's audience got the joke.
Right, but there are people out there who
are watching it for the first time
who watch Chasing Amy and think that's what you do to change a lesbian's mind.
Yeah.
Like, they don't get the overall joke. It flies over their head, and they...
Subtlety is not their strong point.
Right.
And
so, excuse me. So, we're going to come back to the movie now. Becky leaves. I believe Dante goes out looking for, Randall sends Dante. No, you gotta go find her, man. Like, because Kinky Kelly shows up. Kinky Kelly shows up. He lets them go set up into the restaurant. Dante drives around listening to Smashing Pumpkins. And then comes back to the restaurant having not found Becky for, I don't know where he looked for her. Because he just,
where do you go?
I was like, I looked everywhere I thought she would. How divine!
How about fucking time?
Well, the light has I'm just ascending to the heavens. All right. So he comes back to the restaurant, and they got it black lighted out. They're gonna have the bachelor party they always wanted, in which it is a donkey show. Problem is that they booked the worst donkey show. I say the worst donkey show, having never seen a single donkey show. This may be the best donkey show. I don't know.
The worst donkey show they could have imagined.
Right.
Because it was completely opposite of what they wanted.
They wanted to see a woman blowing and getting railed by a donkey. What they got was a male donkey getting railed by Michael Chiklis from The Shield, I guess. So that's going on. It's It's fucking hilarious and horrifying all at the same time. Becky comes back to the store. She can't look away. Why did the cop show up? Because of the smoke machine, right?
The store was on fire.
Right, because there's so much smoke, the store looks like it's on fire, and the fire department shows up. And Randall has for life on the back of his work uniform.
There's a huge to kill him.
Everyone gets arrested except for Becky, who
noped out of it.
I guess just
so she hit the cops covered. She's like,
I'm a pregnant woman who had no idea what was going on here. Arrest them.
Oh, and Emma shows up, throws a cake in Dante's face.
Yes, Emma shows up to surprise Dante. Only, she's standing there as Dante is professing his love to Becky. It's a really weird fucking moment. And she throws a fucking cake on it, and that's the last we see of Schwalbach.
And she finds out that Becky's pregnant, too.
Right, she finds it, and all gets dumped on her.
Because Jay is just like, hey, congratulations on your pregnancy.
And then, he takes the cake from her. He's like, here, hit that 2-time and fuck with this. Jay is such a great person. He just flies all over the place, and you don't hate him for it. So they get arrested. They're all sitting in a holding cell together. Randall's just being Randall. He's talking about fucking Star Wars and jail cell technology. Dante snaps, starts attacking them. They separate each other. They talk about how they're about to go to prison, and then that's when fucking
donkey.
The biker, the fucker of Kinky Kelly walks out and basically tells him, you're not going to jail. I'll probably get a fine and a lot of nasty looks from bureaucrats who just can't handle sexual exploration.
From interspecies erotica.
For interspecies erotica. And then he says he misses his donkey. So Randall and Dante have a back and forth about what their relationship has been this entire time. This is the whole point of the movie for me, and it's one of those things where I've had friends where it's just this is what a friendship means to me. If you want to know what it's like to be a friend for me, go watch the end of this fucking movie.
Yeah. It's so fucking good.
It is. It hits really hard, man, and it hits you right in the chest.
And it cuts to the bone too. Mm-hmm. I mean, just the accusations are flying and. Fuck you, I love you, and that whole blurted it out, what the fuck would you do with your life?
I'd buy the Quick Stop and reopen it myself.
And then
one of the things that when they shot that, they originally shot it as Randall just blurted it out, he didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And Jeff said, hey man, I'm not really feeling that delivery, but here's my take on it. Randall's been thinking about this for a while, and his first opportunity to say it. So he's not second guessing himself. He's throwing this at Dante. It's this is what I would do. It's what we should have been doing this whole time.
And it's whoa.
Yeah, it's hey man, why didn't we do that? They come back to this whole universe building, and it's we don't have the money to do that. And then Jay's we do.
You made $50,000 selling weed.
No.
Fuck, we had that movie made about us.
We had a movie made about us a couple years ago. We got that Blunt Man and Chronic money. And he says, we'll give you the money under two conditions. First condition, we gets to hang out and sell in front of the stores. Second conditions, you two has to fuck each other.
It's go ass to mouth.
And then you got to go ass to mouth. And then it's like, okay, just the first condition.
The bit I love about that is because Silent Bob doesn't give the explanation.
No, he doesn't.
He's just like... Because when they go into the prison, nobody knows where it's going. You like with a lot of these other ones, you could kind of predict where it's headed. But at this point, you didn't know where they were going with it. And Silent Bob going... I got nothing.
That may have been like Kevin Smith, like he was writing it or something in his house one night, and he's like, okay, this is where Silent Bob gives his big heartfort speech and saves the
wisdom.
day. Yeah, he imparts his wisdom on everyone, and then he gets to it, and he's like,
just hit him with the fucking Star Wars quote. These are not the droids you're looking for.
Yeah. I love that. They really should have left that part in the movie. Like, I got nothing, but the I got nothing works so well. And then he has the whole line about it was like, man, you got one answer for everything. It's pussy, man.
And then it goes into the fact that he...
and then Dante and Randall wrap up and kiss and make up, and they buy the quick stop, and everyone lives happily ever after.
And everything's tied up in a neat little package.
And it fades out on Soul Asylum.
Yep. Misery.
They say misery loves company. We can have something and make misery.
Berserker.
Yes. Why didn't we talk about Berserker? Yeah, that's a fucking classic moment. Anyways,
that is one of the classic moments. You know,
Berserker. My love for you is like a berserker.
Do you metal face?
Olaf metal. Did he say making fuck?
Yes. Yes.
So, that wrapped up the View Askewniverse in a nice little bow. It started with Dante and Randall in the quick stop. It ended with Dante and Randall in the quick stop. Pullback shot to pan down his mom and Kevin Smith's mom in a tracksuit looking at dates on fucking gallons of milk.
Just kind of
fucking. We've gone full circle. George fucking Lucas would be fucking proud of those full circles we just made. But yeah,
6 great movies.
Yeah, 6 really great movies. Six good movies on average, a couple of great ones. We'll say Clerks is great, Dogma is great.
3 great movies, 1 good movie,
2 okay movies.
2 alright movies.
2 alright movies, yeah, we'll go with that one.
Alright.
So, and then poor Kevin Smith, his fame got bigger than his art. So, we got Red State, we got Cop Out, we got...
Yoga Hoses.
And now he's working on a Jay and Silent Bob remake, and I couldn't give a fuck less. I really can't. I just don't have the heart to it.
Jay and Silent Bob are 45 now.
Yeah, that's why they're doing a remake. I don't, like... First, like, you want to do a Jay and Silent Bob remake? First of all, fuck you, man. They're the side characters. Do a Clerks remake. If you want to really do it, give me something... give me a Clerks. He
wanted to do Clerks, right? This is the timeline the last couple of years. He wanted to do Clerks.
Mm-hmm.
Clerks 3. He wrote it because everybody was involved, and then after reading the script, one of the 4 main characters pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know whether it was Muse, which I doubt, Brian O'Halloran, or Jeff Anderson. And as we spoke about it, it's probably Jeff Anderson. Allegedly. I don't want to get sued, you people.
Right. Right.
So then he said, you know what, I'm going to make a Mallrats series.
Which didn't get picked up.
Well, not only that, he realized he couldn't do it. Because even though Miramax made Mallrats, it was distributed by either Paramount or Universal. I'm not sure which one.
Basically, he doesn't have the rights.
He doesn't have the rights.
Okay.
To it. So, and then he went, right, okay, well, I do have the rights to Jay and Silent Bob. Fuck it.
I have been screaming this. Where the fuck is my Clerks animated movie?
Yeah.
The Clerks animated TV show was incredibly funny to me, and it happened to come out around the same time when Family Guy had its first run, and Family Guy got fucking canceled, and so did Clerks. Why can't we bring Clerks back? Why can't we do something like that? I don't know.
If he's written a script for Clerks 3, why
just make it animated?
Yeah.
Get Jim Brewer to come out there and play the Randall part if Jeff Anderson doesn't want to do it. Did you ever watch the failed Clerks live-action sitcom pilot?
I didn't.
Don't. Fucking weird, man. But Jim Brewer is playing Randall.
Well, you know who they should get to play Randall?
Huh.
Sarah Silverman.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool with that.
She said that she was going to do... She said that she didn't want to be Becky in Clerks 2 because she was offered the part. She said she didn't want to be Becky, she didn't want to be Emma, she didn't want to be the girlfriend. She's
Yeah, she was trying. At that point, she was trying to get her career to do something else. She was trying to play the girlfriend.
But if Randall pulls out and you want to give him a sex change, I'm in. You know, so
I would. If Kevin Smith is listening to this, remake Clerks and put Sarah Silverman in the Randall role.
You know, I'll tag him when I.
Yeah, please do that.
Yes. All right. So with that in mind, guys, we will be right back here on it, and we got a few more things to talk about before we get out of here. Alright guys, we are almost done for this week. So guys, if you're on Facebook, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, look up Because Maybe Pod, look up our blog, go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, search Because Maybe Podcast. If you have any business inquiries, send me an email, becausemaybe.podcast@gmail.com. Do you have anything going on, man?
Sure, you can come see the Holodecks, your 90's music experience, your premier 90's music experience, January 4th at the Horseshoe River Dome. Tickets are available somewhere. I'm sure you can find it. I'm not that kind of thing. You can also follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Tynan. That's Benjamin Tynan. Figure out how to fucking spell it.
I'll put that in the description.
Yeah, put that in there at Benjamin Tynan. And if you want to play Xbox games with me, you can play with me on my gamer handle, which is Poke Chops in FEMA. That is POKECHOPSNFEMA. Poke Chops in FEMA.
There you go, man. All right, and like I said, we put all that information in the description of the podcast, and you know it's great to have you on, man. Again, open invitation. And next week's episode, I'm actually going to be flying solo. I've only done one of these this season. It was a bit of a rant. This time, I'm going to actually do a proper episode. Be covering the Muppet Christmas Carol, my favorite movie. So,
Marley and Marley.
Yeah, right. That starts off our series of holiday movie reviews, because why not? I work in marketing, right? And I've listened to Christmas music pretty much every day since fucking October. Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna review Home Alone, Muppet Christmas Carol, Four Rooms, because that's the only New Year movie I can think of.
Call me whenever you do Gremlins or Die Hard.
There you go.
Those aren't 90's movies, never mind.
They might go on the Right Here, Right Now series, I don't know yet.
Okay.
I'm still figuring that out, by the way, people, so just give me a little bit. Alright, so guys, that's it for this week. Hope you have a fantastic time. Check out Ben, check out the Holodecks, check us out, and we'll see you soon.
Bye! Hey kids, it's Mark Hamill. Applause!
Guys and dolls, we're just a bunch of crazy guys and dolls.
Luke, be a Jedi tonight. Just be a Jedi tonight. Do it for Yoda while we serve our guests a soda.